one of the things that I'm really intentional about is curating books and resources that will allow me to create the type of life that I want to live, and not only create it, but to maintain it. Because it's one thing to achieve certain goals, it's one thing to have certain experiences, and then it's another to be able to sustain that. You don't want to live a life where you're constantly chasing a dream. I think that gets exhausting. Just as much as you want to reach certain highs in your life, there are also places of peace and rest that you want to create. And in order to do that, you really have to be intentional about how you build. Even this time of day, it's late at night. This is a time when I'm going to be reflective. And in order for me to be reflective at this time of day, I have to be selective about the things that I'm doing during the earlier hours of the day. What am I putting into my mind? Right? What am I putting into my thoughts? How am I feeding my soul? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to just fall into bed exhausted and just drift off to sleep. I think we can be so irresponsible with our time of rest. Even our time of rest has to be intentional. And I know I'm talking about rest and talking about work. Like it makes it sound like work, but it actually is. When this starts to become a part of who you are, it doesn't feel like work because you recognize the worth of creating space for you to just detox, for you to just relax. I have my journal in front of me, and before I go to bed, I'm going to just take some time to journal about my day. I'm going to allow myself to feel whatever it is I'm feeling. I'm going to explore thoughts. I'm going to explore ideas. This is not going to take me an hour. It could take me 5 minutes. It can take me 10 minutes. But it is worth it to me to put my soul in a place where I can actually rest, because we carry our thoughts, our emotions, our pain even into our dream state. And then you find like you might not be sleeping well. You might have slept 9, 10 hours. Some of us, because if you go to sleep earlier, like life is just lifing and it's too much, so I'm going to go to bed early. And then you wake up the next day and you feel like you didn't even sleep at all. And it's because your soul is not at rest. And what is your soul? Your soul is your mind. Your soul is your desires, your will, and your soul is your emotions. So it's made up of those three things. Every single person, no one is exempt from this, right? No one has a soul that is not made up of these things. And if we're not paying attention to our mind, if we're not paying attention to our desires, if we're not paying attention to our emotions, we are neglecting the very core of who we are. So your life cannot be built around the checklist of you accomplishing your goals or doing your best at work or in relationships or whatever it is that you're trying to get done throughout the day. You also have to pay attention to the woman within you. She needs your attention too. So it's not enough for you to be doing all the things if you are not paying attention to the person who's doing all the things. So please, if you hear me talk about these 3 daily appointments, put them into practice. Your appointment with God, your appointment with yourself, and then your appointments with others. And this is what I'm talking about. Today is done. I've had my appointments with others. It is, what time is it? 10:58 p.m. I have no more appointments with other people, but I can have an appointment with myself, and I can have an appointment with God before I go to bed. And this is something that I do multiple times a day, not just in one moment. Now, for your life, I don't know what it's going to look like for you. I don't know how frequently you're going to be able to do this, but build it into your schedule. I have my planner that's behind me. I keep this open on my desk all day, every day. This planner, most of the time, does not leave my house. I can count on one hand the amount of times this planner has left the house. But they're 24 hours a day. I am a daily planner. I live my life one day at a time. I do plan ahead monthly, but I like to use a daily planner, and I outline, when am I going to pray? When am I going to work out? When am I going to cook? I honestly, there were times when I kind of slipped off and I went into autopilot. But the more I do this, the more intentional I am about when I'm going to do certain things. I no longer feel like there's not enough time in the day for me to do what I need to do. And I can clearly go back and look at the previous days, the previous weeks, the previous months, and I can see how I spent my time. I could see where time was wasted. I can see where I need to create space to work on certain things, and I can make improvements going forward instead of just running on a hamster wheel hoping it's all going to work out and not really knowing when I'm doing what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. Making lists is one thing, and making lists is great, but at the end of the day, we all have this one commodity that we get to spend in creating the life that we want to have, and that is time. And if we're not intentional about the time that we're spending, we're not going to be able to do the things that we want to do. And as I approach the second half of my life, I don't know how long I'm going to live, but I want to get to triple digits. And I value time so much more than I did in the past, and I don't want to waste it. I have found myself scrolling way more than I want to, and I want to be conscious. I'm not trying to say that I'm running out of time, because I don't believe I am. I believe that my best years are ahead of me, and I believe that there is a lot of time left on the calendar of my life. And so that time means a lot to me, and I would want to use it well. And I encourage you to use your time well also. So if you want to join me before you go to bed and just take some time journaling. If you are not a journaler and you don't have a notebook, I don't want to tell you to do this on a piece of paper, because here's what happens with pieces of paper. You just end up with piles. I like to journal in volumes. If you look at the side of this, you're going to see it says 2025 and it says April. One of these usually lasts me about 3 months, and I am this far into this one. Today's April 16th, 2025, as I am recording this. I might finish this one. It's very rare that I will finish one of these, but I think I might finish this one this month if the month continues the way that it's been going so far. I've had a lot of downloads, a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of ideas, and I love the fact that I record it because nothing is lost. And I feel like eventually this is something that my children can read. There are very personal things in here. And I remember feeling once like, what happens if someone picks up my journal and reads my deepest thoughts? And I'm thinking, one, this is a private document. And if someone decides to pick up my journal, shame on them for invading my privacy, right? And two, if it happens while I am already gone from this earth, I will be too dead to be embarrassed. So it's fine if they read it. But while I'm here, this is a living, breathing document where I get to write my life down. And I think that I am worth the discovery of writing through my thoughts and my feelings, my emotions, and my dreams in these pages. And this is valuable to me. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. I am looking forward to a little journaling session as I end my day. I hope this helps. Blessings on your journey. I'll talk to you soon.